zombies.
Before 1968, zombies in movies were the voodoo kind. A spell cast on someone, or powder blown in someone's face would create an undead servant. Imagine a timeline of zombie movies with 1968 at the center. Anything before 1968, zombies are what I call voodoo zombies. Then in 1968, a young filmmaker named George Romero released Night of the Living Dead, which invented what we now think a zombie is. Horror fans know that the first movie to use the word zombie was 1932's White Zombie with Bela Lugosi, who had just starred in Dracula a year before. If a zombie movie was released after Night of the Living Dead, the producers could make a choice between the new Romero zombies or voodoo zombies. Some movies, like Sugar Hill, went back to old school voodoo zombies to tell a specific story. Let's go back to 1932. Where did the zombies in White Zombie come from? Many times in movie history, there's something going on that filmmakers noticed. The thing going on that started America's fascination with zombies was this. A book was released in 1929, The Magic Island by William Seabrook. Seabrook was an interesting guy. He was born in Maryland in 1884. He was a journalist who dabbled in the occult. He was also interested in fetish photography. The Magic Island was billed as a non-fiction account of his time spent in Haiti. The book has a chapter titled Dead Men Working in the Cane Fields. This is what exposed Americans to the concept of a zombie, and the book sold over 500,000 copies when released in 1929. Definitions of the word zombie mention that it's a corpse reanimated by witchcraft or by an African or Haitian power such as voodoo. Some definitions mention that zombies are put to work in the sugar fields, as Seabrook's book mentioned. The movie White Zombie shows its zombies working, and the sound from this scene is particularly great. I Walked with a Zombie from 1943 also mentions the sugar fields.
The jungle drums, mysterious, eerie. That's the work drum over at the sugar mill. St. Sebastian's version of the factory whistle. As a matter of fact, it means that the sugar syrup is about ready to be poured.
Seabrook wrote in The Magic Island, "The zombie, they say, is a soulless human corpse still dead, but taken from the grave and endowed by sorcery with a mechanical semblance of life. It is a dead body which is made to walk and act and move as if it were alive. People who have the power to do this go to a fresh grave, dig up the body before it has time to rot, galvanize it into movement, and then make it a servant or slave." People have recently noted that Seabrook must have taken liberties with the truth in The Magic Island. In December 1933, Seabrook committed himself to a mental institution for alcoholism. He stayed there for a few months, then released a book about this in 1935 called Asylum, and that became a bestseller. Seabrook was part of a plot to kill Adolf Hitler. In January 1941, he and some other people went to a cabin in the woods in Maryland, and with a mannequin and a Nazi uniform, they tried to use voodoo to assassinate Hitler. Maybe Seabrook's aim was off, because this did not kill Hitler. Still, I give him credit for trying. Seabrook committed suicide on September 20th, 1945 from a drug overdose. He was 61. White Zombie was directed by Victor Halperin. It was filmed in 11 days and cost $50,000 to make. It did well at the box office despite mixed reviews. There was a lot of showmanship at the theater in those days. This theater showing White Zombie is using live actors to generate interest. Going to see a movie was a big deal before home video existed. With America's new interest in zombies, a follow-up to White Zombie was put into production. That movie was Revolt of the Zombies, released in 1936. It's a movie that stars the eyes of Bela Lugosi while the rest of him is nowhere to be found. It was originally produced as a sequel to White Zombie, but the company that helped to finance the first film had in their contract that they had exclusive rights to the word zombie in a movie's title. They didn't want Revolt in theaters, but a judge of New York State Supreme Court ruled that the movie could be screened until a judgment in the case was reached. Victor Halperin and his brother Edward had to pay less than $12,000 in damages and legal fees and could not promote the movie as a sequel to White Zombie. Lugosi didn't work on Revolt, however, footage of his eyes was recycled from the first movie. One of the last movies released before Romero changed everything was The Plague of the Zombies, released in 1966 by Hammer Film Productions. The movie blames its zombies on witchcraft.
But no corpse can remain at peace in this village of the undead, this land of the zombies. In this place, no one is safe. No one can hide from witchcraft.
When asked what caused the zombie outbreak inside the world of his movies, Romero simply said, "God changed the rules." The zombie market is currently overcrowded and has been for years. Zombies, once only an interest of horror fans, have sadly become the punchline of a joke. It's interesting that William Seabrook and his book from 1929 started the genre. Thank you for watching, subscribe to see more, and leave a comment.